Here's a quick test. You bring on a graphic designer for a few months to help with marketing. You assign deadlines. You approve the work. You even ask them to work certain hours. Are they an independent contractor, or are they actually an employee? I'm Jordan Held, an attorney at Kreis Enderle. And if you're a Michigan business owner who hires freelancers, 1099 workers, or part-timers, this video is for you. Because if you misclassify a worker, even by accident, you could face serious penalties, back taxes, and legal claims that can cost far more than just fixing it up front. Let's start here. Classifying someone as an independent contractor isn't just about how you pay them. It determines what laws apply. Employees are protected by minimum wage laws, overtime rules, workers' comp, unemployment insurance, anti-discrimination statutes, and more. Independent contractors, they're not. That's why it's so tempting to put someone on a 1099. No payroll taxes, no benefits, no HR headaches. But here's the catch. You don't get to choose the classification. The law does. And if the Department of Labor, the IRS, or the Michigan Unemployment Insurance Agency decides you got it wrong, you could be looking at fines and penalties, owed payroll taxes, unpaid overtime or benefits, and possibly a lawsuit. It's a headache no business wants, and it's avoidable. There's no single rule, but here's the big picture. It all comes down to control. They're probably an employee if you control how, when, and where the person works. If the person controls their own schedule, uses their own tools, and decides how the work gets done, they're more likely to be an independent contractor. If the person looks and acts like part of your team, the law probably considers them an employee. So let's make this real. Example 1. You hire a freelance web developer to redesign your site. She sets her own hours, uses her own laptop, works off-site, and juggles multiple clients. They're likely an independent contractor. Or example 2. You bring on a marketing assistant who works 9 to 5 in your office, uses your software, and reports to your supervisor. Even if you're paying them via 1099, they're probably an employee in the eyes of the law. And that misclassification could trigger an audit, unpaid taxes, or even a wage and hour claim if that person worked overtime without proper pay. Here in Michigan, we also look at the worker's economic dependence. If the person relies on your business as their primary source of income, that can favor an employment relationship. Michigan courts and agencies also consider whether the worker's services are integral to your business, whether they have an independent business offering the same services to others, they invest in their own tools or equipment, and if they can profit or lose depending on how efficiently they work. So even if you have a signed contractor agreement, it won't protect you if the reality looks more like an employer-employee relationship. Here are the top 3 mistakes we see again and again. Assuming part-time or short-term means contractor. It doesn't. You can have part-time employees. Thinking a contract makes it legal. A written agreement is helpful, but courts and agencies will look at what's actually happening day to day. And giving contractors employee perks. If you invite 1099 workers to staff meetings, give them a company laptop, or ask them to stick to a company schedule, you're blurring the line and increasing your risk. So what's the right move? Define the role clearly before hiring. Avoid micromanaging contractors. Let them control how they deliver the work. Keep good documentation of the scope, deadlines, and expectations. And get legal guidance if you're unsure, especially for ongoing or high-risk roles. At Kreis Enderle, we help Michigan businesses classify workers correctly, draft airtight contracts, and avoid missteps that trigger audits or lawsuits. Hiring should help your business, not put it at risk. If you're unsure whether someone should be on payroll or paid via 1099, don't guess. The consequences of getting it wrong are far worse than taking the time up front to get it right. Give Kreis Enderle a call. We'll help you evaluate your worker relationships, set up clean contracts, and protect your business before the IRS or Department of Labor come knocking. because compliance is part of running a smart and sustainable business.